Can you believe it? We made it. Season 1 is officially in the books.
I know, right? It feels just like yesterday we were sitting here, nervous and excited about to launch this crazy podcast adventure.
And now, here we are, wiser, hopefully funnier, and definitely with more questionable takes than when we started.
Let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come. We've laughed, we've cried almost, we've learned a ton, and we've definitely had some awkward silences.
It's been a wild ride, and we can't wait to reminisce about it all with you. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive into our Season 1 wrap-up. Welcome back, everybody, to Rock Resurgence Radio. I am your host, Chad.
And I'm your co-host, Bergy.
Today is a very special episode. We're going to wrap up Season 1 with just kind of a little reminiscing and discussing what went right, what went wrong, and the bumps along the road. And we're just going to do that for a little while and wrap up this season. And then at the end, we'll kind of talk to you a little bit about what we're going to do for Season 2. Yeah, it should be fun episode. We don't have any notes or really anything like that. We're just going to kind of look back at where it all started. January 28th, we did a trailer. And I remember that when we were researching for this, it said, so YouTube understands that you're a podcaster or some damn thing like that. You should do a trailer and let that get recognized and then wait a little while and then before you put out your first episode. So that's what we did, just like a 30-minute-and-a-half trailer, just saying, hey, we're dipshits and we're going to start a podcast.
Here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan.
Yeah.
Instead of like we're doing right now, flying by the seat of our pants. But
right. It's been a fun ride. We've gotten better. I hope you guys think we've gotten better as well. It was a little rocky at the beginning, but we were newbies and had no clue. We were flying by the seat of our pants, and Chris had an idea how to edit, and he's become pretty doggone good at it. We started off with an episode. Our first actual episode came out on February 23rd, which is the day before my mother's birthday. And it was 80s hard rock. What bands got you hooked? And I know which one it was for me. It was Motley Crue. That's the one that got me hooked. Which one was it for you?
Well, this guy right here. I forgot I had this in here still, but Rat Out of the Cellar.
That was yours.
That was mine.
Yeah. So, kind of a fun episode. We kind of told you stories how it all came about, and I explained it was Jeff Galseth who got me into it. Motley Crue, it scared the shit out of me the first time I heard it. And we kind of did a little of that, and then we moved on to the second episode. I'll let you introduce that one.
Yeah, well, the second episode was a lot of fun. Just to interject on your first episode, I went back and I forget who I was talking to the other day. It might have been my dad. And I was going to try to find this first episode so I could say, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about this. We got this. I know my dad watches YouTube for stuff. Had no idea that we have a show or a podcast. Anyway, I got sidetracked, never got to show it to him, but I pulled that video up and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one where I cut off half of my head.
Yeah.
If you remember, right, we'd shot the episode. Yeah. Actually, we did this a couple of times. We shot an episode. And we accidentally deleted it or something?
Yeah, the head part, I remember. It was just like you were half in the picture, like half of your head. And we got all the way done with it. And it wasn't a very long episode, but who wants to reshoot that? Because, you kind of feel like you got it right the first time. And we're just like, piss on it. It's not a big deal. We'll get better.
Yeah, but I think we sat at your place when we did an episode there.
Did we?
Yeah, and then we couldn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I had bought a camera, a Nikon camera, used off of Amazon. Little did we know that this thing would only record 29 minutes before it shut off. Well, as you guys know, we're a hell of a lot longer winded than that.
We rambled on and it felt really good. Like this is going to be killer.
This is going to be killer.
Yeah.
And I think we were over an hour into it and we realized that it hadn't recorded for the last half hour.
And it was late and we just said, okay, we'll still pick this up and do it again another day.
Yeah.
It was a good practice run.
Then
so we shot that first episode and I accidentally deleted it or something. I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly either, but we've had a few bumps along the road where it's, you just go, you're like, oh my God, really? No way. That can't be. You're just like, because you put a lot of work into this stuff. And, you want it to be good and you want it to be semi-perfect. That's what we aim for, semi-perfect.
It's funny, it was 6 months ago or whatever it was, and I watched that, and it looks awful to me compared to what we're doing now. Yeah,
I haven't watched the early ones. I have to go back and do that. I kind of, I don't know who said that once. I don't really like watching myself on TV, but whoever it was, if it was some movie star or something doesn't watch their movies. I can't remember what it was, but I'm kind of that way too. I don't necessarily, I don't like my voice for one, and to watch them. So I have watched like probably 10 of the 26 episodes all the way through. But it's been kind of the later ones where we gotten a little better.
And since I edit them, I feel like I got enough time watching it while I'm editing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go back through and watch one, but not every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you spend a lot of time on the editing and you're watching it as you're editing. So you're probably getting more than you probably bargained for.
And I'm sure one of these or 2 or 3 of these 26 episodes, there's something I missed. There's probably a blooper that's still on the video. I don't know.
Yeah. I still haven't watched the Peter Tracks one.
Peter Tracks. So
I don't even know which one it is.
You asked me about episode 2.
Yep.
This was one of my favorite ones to do, and it was just a spitball session, which is a lot of these, but it was, hey, let's go through the alphabet. And I think I got the idea from another video I saw somebody else do. It was an older video, and I thought that's pretty cool. I don't even know if it was related to hair metal or hard rock or
it was
the kind of stuff that we talk about. But we went through the alphabet A through Z, and I actually had to split it up in 2 episodes because it got long. It was almost 3 hours if you put the 2 episodes together. But that was one of my favorite ones to do.
I think I agree with you because there was absolutely, it was just off the cuff. It was like, hey, and there was times where I'm like, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
And then you kind of had to cheat a little bit on Apple Music or whatever and look a little, oh yeah, there's one. But holy man, that was tougher than it seemed.
We did get a few comments like, hey, you should have thought of this for Z, or you should have thought of that for P or whatever. But it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah. It's you kind of talk about some bands that you normally probably wouldn't talk about. Like I had Zorte in there, and it's not very often I get to talk about those guys, and they're real, they're no longer doing music, but they were a fun kind of local upper Midwest band back in the day, and I wish they were still playing, to be honest.
Then we moved on from there to a Metallica episode where we ranked the albums 1 through 11. And this was before, shortly after this, we discovered that, let's just put some music in there. We were all worried about having copyright problems, getting our channel shut down because we were playing copyrighted music. Turns out it's not a big deal until we reach a certain point.
Exactly. So we didn't put any music in our first, I don't know.
I think the first one with music could have that been the extreme one, or did we not? Was it Bon Jovi?
I don't know. It was a ways down the road, but yeah, so we didn't put any music in this. And the big thing was, you're reading all the forums and this is that, just don't do it, it says. But then we were talking to the hair metal guru because he was putting some music in his, and we're like, how do you get away with that? He goes, well, it's nothing until you get monetized. Well, we're a long way from being monetized. You got to have 1,000 subscribers and so many hours of watch time and stuff. And we haven't even broke the 100 mark yet. So
Getting pretty close though.
we're almost 10% of the way there.
So we should take a time out to thank the 94 subscribers
94,
we're up to
yep.
as of today is Monday, the 12th of August.
Yeah. So 94 in, what's it been, 6 months?
6 months.
6 months. So yeah, and if you think about it, 26, the episode that comes out this Friday, or you'll already seen it, but is the 26th video, which is half of 52 weeks. So figured we would do that as a season and then make 2 seasons per year, basically. And we're going to do this wrap up here, and then we're going to take a little hiatus, give our minds a little bit of a break. And during that time, we would like if some of our followers may want to give us some ideas for episodes, that'd be great. In the comments, there is a way to get a hold of us. Both our emails are in there. You could do that. You could hit us up on Facebook. I know some of you guys do that, or right on YouTube, you can comment. And I try to get to all those as soon as possible. Sometimes I miss them and I'm like, oh shit, when the hell did this happen? And then I'll answer or whatever. But yeah, some ideas from you. We do have a couple new ideas.
Yeah, we're gonna, through season 1, we came up with a few things. We did the versus episodes, which was kind of fun, and I think we'll continue to do those.
I think so.
I mentioned when we first started doing it, we usually did something like, Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil versus, we didn't do Too Fast for Love. We did Dr. Feelgood. That was our 26th episode. But stuff like that. Maybe season 2, we switch it up a little bit and do a band versus a band.
Yeah, we could do that
or
too.
Or a song versus a song or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. A song versus a song. And that would be fine as well. Yeah, the first versus one we did was Bon Jovi.
Yeah, and we did Slippery When Wet versus New Jersey.
Yep. And
we had so much fun doing that one. We did 3 in a row.
Yep, we did. After that, we did Tesla, Mechanical Resonance versus Great Radio Controversy, and then
Firehouse.
Debut versus Hold Your Fire.
And that was shortly.
Oh, we did 4 of them in a row.
I wondered, did we start that with, I think we started talking about it right before CJ Snare passed away and just happened to.
Yep, I remember that. So yeah, I think that's kind of a fun little deal. You pit one against the other, and I don't know what we ended up on the season. How many times we agreed and how many times we disagreed. I don't know for sure, but it was fun either way. There was a couple where I pulled him over to my way of thinking and he pulled me over to his way of thinking a time or two. So, it's just one of those, they're fun.
Yeah. So we did verses in season 1 and we'll, like I said, probably do that some more in season 2. We're going to do some album reviews, like old albums, which most of the stuff we're talking about is retro stuff.
Yeah, so it's going to be called
Retro Review.
Yeah.
And I think I like the idea of Retro Review Plus, or whatever. We don't have to have, but at the end of our Retro Review, we're going to make a suggestion of an album that's a little newer. Maybe something from the 2000s, or maybe even something as recent as 6 months ago.
Yeah, or it could be something you're talking about this band and they kind of remind you of this other band or something of that.
Yep.
And you just go, if you like these guys out, hey, the singer went and played for these guys. Like you do that if we were doing like a Sammy Hagar thing. Well, he went on to sing for Van Halen. So if you liked Sammy Hagar on his own, you might want to check out Van Halen after 5150 and on. Stuff like that. We'll kind of try to throw a little extra out there for you in case some of this, and and it might be like a little bit more obscure band that you might not know. Hey, if you like this, you might dig this also, and maybe get a few new bands in your library, and yeah, you just might fall in love with them.
Yeah, believe it or not, hair metal didn't end in 1992.
Nope.
Even that kind of music. Like when we first started this, we talked about, we're not just going to talk about hair metal, but it does seem like that's our favorite genre. And that's what we talk a lot about.
It is.
But I might have a suggestion of a band that you wouldn't consider hair metal or new hair metal even. There are bands out there that that are doing hair metal. If you like, whether you like the term or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The glam, whatever you want to call it, is back. And there's quite a few bands out there that are doing new music in that style.
Right.
And it sounds really, really, really good. There's some really heavy hitters out there. And if they could just get some traction, it's not like the 80s where it's all big hits on the radio anymore. It's got to be word of mouth, and they got to get streams, and they got to sell out tickets to their shows, because that's the only way they make money right now.
Yeah, nobody's selling 28 million copies of an album anymore.
No, I mean, Taylor Swift maybe, but...
Well, okay.
But yeah, she will not be on our channel.
If she'll have us, we'll take her.
I mean, if she'll show up.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say no?
I think if we could get her on our show, we might have a few more subscribers.
I think we might make 1,000 subscribers if we got her on our show.
Real quick, like.
If any of you guys know her,
yeah,
we're looking.
Give her our number.
Yeah,
we're taking calls.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, one other thing maybe we're going to try to do, or we're going to try. Not saying it's going to happen for sure, but we're going to try to get some guests.
Yep. We're going to try working some guests. Other than this year, we had a few guests. We had Hair Metal Guru.
It's a fun episode.
Yep, that was one of my favorite. We had Brian from
Hairband Basement.
Hairband Basement. He has a radio show on Station Head, and he's very active on Twitter. And then we also had your buddy Phil kind of
came on, told a story over the phone.
And maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe we'll have a live show where we'll get some call-ins or something. Maybe work on something like that. It's all kind of stuff we're kind of thinking about. Just we got to figure out how exactly we're going to do it. It may be just a Zoom call like we did.
Yeah, live show might be season 3 or 4 or 5, but when we get some subscribers and we know we're going to have some people watching us live, we'll definitely do it.
Yeah, or we'll do some more guests this year via Zoom call or whatever, and cross your fingers and send good thoughts our way, because we're going to hit up some people if we can.
Maybe a little more famous guest.
Yes.
Yeah, and this studio, we might get ourselves a new studio for season 2.
We're checking the budget, and we're seeing what we can come up with, and might be a new studio in the works.
Tentative date we got scheduled to kick off season 2 isn't far away, so don't fear. We're not going far away. The next season will start very soon. As a matter of fact, we have a date in mind.
Friday the 13th
of September. So just a few weeks down the road.
So this episode should show on August
26th.
This one?
Our Motley Crue's on the 19th, and then this one would be the 26th.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll show
you're right. Yep. So, so just not a 3 weeks off, and just clear our head and get these ideas flowing. We are going to try to kind of we have a tendency to go off topic and kind of spitball, but I really like that. So we're not going to get rid of it, but we're going to try to reel ourselves in towards the end of the podcast, because we kind of just ramble. We just like squirrel.
Yeah.
And not really.
Tracks.
We're not gonna. We're gonna try to streamline that down so we have a consistency at the end of our shows that it sounds a little more professional than a couple of dipshits trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to end a show.
Speaking of dipshits, I said the wrong date. Friday the 16th is the Motley Crue episode, which you will have already seen. When you're watching this, it should be August 23rd if you're watching it the first day it comes out. Not, that said the 29th, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Or
26th, I said.
Yeah. So this one will come out on the 23rd, and then we will be back on the 13th with a brand new episode.
Just a few weeks off.
Yep. We got to give this guy a break. He works very hard on this editing stuff. I have the easy part. I do the shorts. I got a freaking software that kind of does it for me. I got to go in and tweak it a little bit. And but yeah, he definitely has the harder part of the job.
Well, to do a hour episode, let's say, it's probably about 3 or 4 hours worth of editing, depending on if we're doing music, and we have been doing music on every episode, which I like. At some point, hopefully, we won't be able to do that.
At some point, we won't.
On every video, you know.
Yeah.
Because if we do make, and I think it's only 500 subscribers we need to get to. And
did they change it?
Yeah, I think, and you have to have so many
4,000 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
of watch time,
which
is a lot.
Yeah.
So eventually, we'll get there.
So
with fans like you guys, I mean, I know. I mean, and I want to say this. Stacy had a really good comment. Stacy, that's my brother-in-law, Stace. My friend had a good comment. He said, I like it when you guys kind of comment on the song as you're listening to it. And I think we're going to try to do that more. Because, it's weird. We hear things in these headphones that like you wouldn't hear if you were just listening in a car stereo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like really crystal clear. So, and it's fun to kind of comment on, oh yeah, at this point they kick in with this and whatever. So yeah, we're going to try to do that a little bit more. It's a little more difficult. There's a little bit more editing for Chris, especially if we are singing along, because you got to try and match the words up with the lips. So
well, I'm sure there's an easier way to do things, but I think it's not like when we're shooting the episode, the raw footage, we're talking and we're listening to it in the headphones, but I don't have enough outputs to take the output from our headphones and put it in the computer. And I could probably do that. Probably be the easier fix.
Okay.
Rather than editing
Yeah.
and putting the song in after. But if you watch one of our episodes, earlier ones where we're singing along to a song, I've put in that song and tried to sync up our lips. And that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Actually, us talking behind the music or about the music while it's playing is easier because I'm not putting in a background and an album cover or something to, cover up the fact that we're bobbing our heads and singing along.
Right.
It does make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But
one way that would put the album cover up looks a little cleaner, I suppose, just cause, and it allows us a minute to.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact episode, or the song, but the song's playing, for example, and Chad's like, right there, that's where it sounds like so-and-so, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That's good stuff. That's what your buddy's talking about.
Yeah.
He wants to hear that.
Yeah.
And there's some of that stuff that got cut out.
Yeah. Well,
is what it is.
But yes, we're going to try to do things like that. So we do read the comments and we do take that stuff in, and we will try to work on things if you guys make comments like that. And I loved in that same comment, Stace said this I think that he said something to the effect of the commenting while it's playing brought this episode to an 11 for him.
Nice.
I thought, hell yeah.
It's good to know that somebody enjoys what.
Yeah, and I Stace is very technical like that too, so I get it, and he is bringing up very good ideas. So, when we would be wise to take up on some of his ideas. So,
Yes.
and he's only trying to make us better. Okay, where do we end up here?
Well, we were kind of going through some of our episodes, but we
Yeah.
don't really need to do that. What was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode, I think it was with Hair Metal Guru. We did the Warrant albums, ranked them, all the Janie Lane albums, and we ranked them. All three of us ranked them in our orders and whatever. And I thought that was pretty fun because every one of us had a different order.
Yeah.
And I think that turned out really well.
And some of that, I feel like I like his order. I like your order.
Yeah.
I like my order.
Exactly. I think those orders are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Just depending on the day, depending on the mood.
Then I know you made a comment in that episode about, the real Warrant fans are going to say Dog Eat Dog is number one.
Yeah.
And I consider myself a real Warrant fan, and I had to go against the grain because of that.
Well, I did too. I took Cherry Pie number one.
Yep.
And, and I also mentioned that episode, I'm not a big fan of the Cherry, I tend to skip that song now because it just was way too overplayed. Yeah, it was cool back in the day. Way too overplayed. And, but the rest of the album is so damn good that it was just hard for me not. And my kind of favorite song, I think, is Mr. Rainmaker. So that kind of
pushed that album over the top.
Pushed the album over the top for me.
Speaking of that, Janie Lane's anniversary of his death was yesterday, the 11th of August.
Yeah,
I saw some posts on Facebook, and some of the comments are awful in there. I don't know if you
No, I didn't read them. I made a nice comment, and I said, it's a very sad day in rock history. We lost one of the best singer-songwriters to ever walk the face of the earth.
And there are people that don't get that, but they're wrong. They're probably not watching our show.
Yeah, and that's good. If they have an attitude like that, I don't want them on watching our show.
Right on.
So, anywho.
How about your favorite moment?
Peter Tracks.
Yeah, that's a little Easter egg. You might have to go back and watch.
I gotta go back and watch that because it was so god dang funny. And did you leave that in?
I did. So to set up the joke, let's just say this. And I think I finally, I didn't get it at first.
Yeah,
I forget the comment I'd made. It was earlier in the episode talking about Richard Marx' song kept so-and-so song off of the charts or off the number one spot or whatever. And then nothing was said about it for a while. And then we started talking about it again. We kind of circled back like we do. And Chad had said Peter Tracks.
Well, I said Peter Tracks the first time.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Yeah.
He did. And I just kind of chuckled and never thought twice about it. And I never even thought about it again.
Yeah.
But then when you said it the last time.
Oh, Mr. Peter Tracks again.
Yeah. I thought for just 2 seconds and I finally got it and I just busted out and
then we both were just rolling.
Yeah.
Tears coming down the eyes.
I had to leave it in.
And for those of you guys who haven't figured that out yet, it's Richard Marx, like Dick, Richard.
Marx.
Tracks. Kind of.
Yeah. So, I think they got it.
Yeah. So that's all thanks to Mr. Troy Johnson made that comment one time, and him and I laughed like a mofo too when he said that. I was like, "What?"
Richard Marx.
Well, Dick Tracks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had tears rolling. I haven't laughed that hard in so long. I had tears just rolling down my face because when he got it, it was just like a freaking light bulb just went bing.
Yeah.
And it was so funny to watch him get it.
Yeah.
And then just start laughing. And then he couldn't stop laughing. And I couldn't stop laughing. So yeah, that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, that does make it fun.
It does. Yeah.
And most guys would probably cut that out.
Not us.
Not us.
We're complete rebels.
Yeah.
Without a clue. Well, we talked about that. What was the hardest part about podcasting to you, Chris?
The hardest part was just getting going on it, I think. Just, from the time you decided you wanted to do it, or the time you asked me if I'd help you do it, to the actual doing it, seemed like it was forever.
When it kind of was. When I was looking at that, when I, showing because it was the end of January when we did that trailer, and it was almost the end of February before we shot our first episode.
But even before that, we talked about it, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, and had to buy some stuff, and so that, and I bought mostly the wrong shit.
Yeah, well, between
any of you guys looking for any podcasting stuff, I got some.
Between the two of us, and mostly you, put a lot of money into this.
Yeah.
For not a lot of, no return really.
Yeah,
that's okay.
No return.
We just, it's especially okay because it's mostly his money that's into it.
Yeah, well, it was passion that I wanted to see come to fruition. So you got to spend a little bit to make that happen, but I haven't really spent anything since. As a matter of fact, I get a little tiny profit off of any merch sales, which somebody bought a shirt here a couple days ago, or bought something a couple days ago. So
it wasn't somebody you recognized, or
it doesn't tell you.
Okay.
Who bought it? It just has a customer number or some damn thing.
Doesn't say where it was shipped to or anything.
No. Or if it does, I haven't looked that far into it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, whoever bought that, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all Chad's deal for now.
Yeah. I mean,
once we're millionaires, I'm gonna expect a cut of that, but
yeah, of course. Right now you'd be getting a slice of $32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make that out in a check, or is that going to be cash?
Do you want to file the tax on it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I think you got to make over 600 before you got to pay tax on it, but I could be wrong.
Really?
I think so.
I hope you're right, because I'm well under that.
You're well short of that.
Yep. That won't even be a possibility.
We can write off the microphones. We can write off everything. So
really,
I'm sure we could.
Huh?
The time came, books, whatever.
Yeah, I guess I never thought of that.
Speaking of that, so I talked about this in our first episode.
You did.
I was giving my dad a hand. He's had an auction sale going through my grandma's old house, and here was his set of 8 tracks sitting there. Well, I say his, but this was mine. This came up in our first episode, Chipmunk Punk.
Yeah.
And this one didn't come up in there, but I found this one too. The original motion picture soundtrack of Thank God It's Friday. Disco phase at 6 years old. Can't blame me for being 6 or 7 or whatever it was, but
exactly. You kind of listen to whatever people were playing at that point.
Yeah.
You weren't getting to run the dials. Is there anything that you've learned over the season that just kind of jumps out at you? Oh, I could tell you the hardest part about podcasting for me is getting motivated after a break.
Yeah.
Like when we'll shoot 3-4 episodes in a night, and then we got a month's worth right there. So we'll take 3 weeks off. Well, then it comes time to shoot. I'm like, I don't really feel like it. So getting motivated to do it. But once I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why we do it, because this is a lot of damn fun. And that's probably the hardest part for me, is the taking the breaks. And I'm cool taking breaks because, you do. You work a full-time job. You got to spend time with your family. And if you were shooting episodes every night, we'd probably both be divorced, and that wouldn't be any fun.
No, and if then when we reach some more subscribers, maybe we'll do more episodes. But for now, once a week is perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. it gives it a little time to get some traction before they jump onto the next thing. I mean, like I was saying, with music nowadays, everything's so instant gratification. I kind of like keeping it once a week, so it's not so instant.
Yeah.
It's like you watch it, but you got a week to watch it, and you could not watch a week and watch two in a night.
Right.
Unless there are marathon ones. But yeah, no, so far I have no complaints about it. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have more subscribers, but I think they will come. It's just, we just got to keep plugging away.
Yeah, I know that there's things that I know that we can do or should do that will help us. And some of those things are just get a little better at editing, a little better at, like, we're just spitballing here.
Yep.
Maybe a little better preparation would help us in certain aspects.
In certain aspects, but
certain things that we're going to talk about here, this is just literally, hey, this is we've done a full season of episodes. We're calling it a day on season 1. And we're going to, just here to tell you what we talked about, what we're going to talk about in season 2, what kind of stuff we got on the burner. So,
and I have a question written here. This, what have you learned over the season? I learned that and not even for me, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're putting in lots of more hours than I am. And I kind of feel bad about that, and I appreciate it, but I don't really want to learn how to freaking edit. It sounds like a pain in the ass.
It's work, but I kind of like it. It's kind of fun to figure something out.
And if that's something you could put on a resume if you're ever looking for a job too. That's that's big. That a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Right. And I mean, all the tools are out there for people. But really, that's just all I did was just, I didn't watch any videos. I just kind of learned myself how to make the videos.
Right.
Like trial and error.
Yep. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because you learn, you don't want to do that. But you can mostly, like when we were doing the beginning for this episode, we kind of messed up a little bit, and he was going through and he kind of cut one thing too short, and you just hit undo until you got back to the spot, and then we redid it. And so, they make it so it's hard to screw it up too bad.
Yeah. Just once you have something figured out, things move a lot sooner, or a lot faster.
Right.
For example, I mean, the first episode was bad because I cut off half my head. The second episode was bad, maybe because the video quality wasn't up to par. The audio quality was, and that still seems like a struggle, but I think I got it down pretty good, where I think our last, say, 5, 6, 7 episodes have looked better. Maybe. And some of the things that I do with the cuts are second nature now, where before, okay, how do I do this? And I, had to kind of piece it together like a puzzle.
Yep.
Now it's just, okay, click there, drag this, hit that, delete, whatever, and boom, there it is.
Yep. So you've gotten a season's worth of editing done, and you're in a spot where what used to take you 2 hours probably now takes you an hour.
Yeah, and every time I do it, I learn something new. Like just the last 2 episodes, the one that you're going to see before this, the Motley Crue one.
Yep.
And the one before that, which was...
Oh, good God.
Good
AC/DC.
Yeah. Those episodes, I learned a little trick, which I'm not giving anything away or whatever, but it helped me speed along the process.
Well, good.
And then we take those videos too, and we put them into an audio-only format for Spotify, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, that kind of stuff, which reminds me again, if you're listening to those, instead of watching us on YouTube, for now, you're missing out on some of the music.
Right. You don't get when he plays songs that we're talking about, or we're reviewing an album and we're playing a part of that song. You're not getting that when you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You're just getting the audio portion of it, the us talking part of it. And so if you want the whole deal, you know, with the songs and everything, you'd want to switch over to YouTube for that. And that has nothing to do with us. That's their deal. We could easily do it, but if we do it, then it gets banned and and doesn't let us do it. So
usually it ends up, I cut in all the songs, and then I upload it to YouTube, and then YouTube goes through the checks, and the checks are this song's copyright it's blocked in Russia, or blocked in Russia and the US. Unfortunately, if you're trying to watch us in Russia, it's not working for you because only a few of our episodes are going to show up.
Vodka.
Yeah. But like the AC/DC episode, this is the one thing that does suck about it, is I added in all these AC/DC songs, and turns out the only one that's not causing a copyright block in the US was Hell's Bells.
And they're the first band of all the bands that we've played that has had this happen.
Yeah, there's usually there was another one where this song I couldn't play in the US, so I cut out one song, but literally I had to cut every song out. And we played some deep, I mean, it was two very popular, their most popular albums. But Have a Drink on Me or something, for example. I don't think we even use that one, but something that's not like Hell's
like
Bells
Walk All Over You,
Back in Black, or
because I know you were going to put Walk All Over You off of that.
Right. That's kind of a deeper track.
Yeah. That's not a super popular track, so that one should have flew right by that.
But that one's got a ding, and Hell's Bells is okay.
And then you did Motley Crue, and those seemed fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's weird, you know, because, I mean, I'm not saying Motley Crue's bigger than AC/DC, but they're kind of about the same popularity, I would think, in album sales. So you would think if you're going to have problems with AC/DC, you'd probably have problems with Motley Crue, but not the case. So either way, this is just little things that we run into while we're doing this, and we just kind of like to tell you guys about it, little trials and tribulations of doing a podcast.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. So, but anyway, I think we should probably kind of wrap this up as our
season finale.
Season finale, and I hope you guys enjoyed our little bit of spitballing and kind of telling you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that we've done, and learned a little bit more about us probably. And we are having fun, and we will be back on September 13th with a brand new season and some new ideas. And again, if you have new ideas, you can comment on our YouTube video, because I see those, or there's emails, they'll be in the description. You could send us an email, or however else, you know, on our shorts, on our Facebook or Instagram or wherever. You can comment wherever. I see them all. So
yeah, I'd like to definitely see some ideas or some things you'd like to see, or you know, give us a band you want us to talk about, or an album, or a song, or even something off the wall. Maybe we will.
And if you can think of anything that will become viral for us to get us going. I mean, I think it's almost, you got to have like names like Taylor Swift and what did your wife just do? This was a cool thing.
Things that kind of tug at your heartstrings are good for sure. But so we've been doing this for 6 months, you know, and I don't know what our statistics are, but we probably got 4,000 views or something. Let's just say, 94 subscribers. My wife does a video of the video at the fair, like, cause we're sitting up in the grandstand, so we're pretty far away.
Yep.
But you know, your iPhones can zoom in pretty far and take a pretty darn good picture close up.
Yep.
Like in our most recent episode, I put some Motley Crue live footage in there from the concert. But we're at this Lainey Wilson concert, and she does this thing where she pulls a gal out of the crowd for the country girl of the night, which is cool. And I don't think it's planned ahead of time. I mean, I know that's part of her thing, and she does it every night.
Yeah.
But she picked out a gal that my wife taught in school, and She graduated from the school where my wife teaches, and she posted this video, and she got, I'm not even kidding you, in like 3 days. It was kind of disheartening. I'm thinking we do all this work and we edit all this shit and we talk till we're blue in the face and we post and upload, and she just does Facebook video, and she maybe, I don't know how many friends she has on her Facebook. Let's say it's
150 probably.
Well, let's say it's 1,000, but 12,000, it's probably more than that now. But when I looked at it,
12,600 people.
Yeah.
Seeing her video.
And it was like a day later.
That's insane. See, we need something like that. So if you guys got any ideas how we can get that to happen, no, I honestly don't know. I was talking to Chris about one. I guess Ozzy did a song with Post Malone, and I said, hey, maybe we should do a review on that because, you know, Post Malone's kind of a current,
a little more
current person. Maybe, you know, that'll get us some more hits, and we're still going to do it. I think we just haven't done it yet. But yeah, we're just, you know, I mean, we're thinking of stuff like that, of possibly trying to find something that'll just catch traction and get us one video that kind of brings a few people in. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But you 94 subscribers and you people,
you are very
people that are
to
watching it right now, that you, like we talked about in our one episode, where you always wanted to be the guy that discovered this album first, or you know, you heard something on the radio before anybody else, or you went out and bought an album that nobody knew about. You are the people that are listening to our podcast at its inception and probably at its worst. It's only going to get better. And you guys are there for the beginning, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you all. We really do.
Which brings me to the, please like our video, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your dog, tell your dad, your family, just whoever you can think of that, hey, might like this kind of stuff. Have them check us out. Tell them to like, subscribe. We really would appreciate it.
Yep. And that is it for this episode, or for this season of Rock Resurgence Radio with Chad and Chris.
And we'll be back on September 13th, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. There may be a little surprise. Probably not, but there may be.
You got to tune in to find out.
All right, guys. Thank you for everything. Season 1 was a blast. I can't wait for season 2.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We'd greatly appreciate it. Links to everything we discussed will be included in episode notes. Feel free to check those out as well. Until next time, stay golden, Pony Boy, and rock on.